Life will not ask if you are ready. Life will not wait for you to be in the right mood. Life simply happens, and it happens fast. The difference between those who rise above their challenges and those who stay stuck is not talent, not luck, not even opportunity. It is the discipline of the mind. If your mind is weak, everything feels like an obstacle. But when your mind is strong and disciplined, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. Your mind is the battlefield where every victory and every defeat begins. Before you achieve anything in life, before you earn success, before you gain wealth, before you create meaningful relationships, your mind has already decided whether you will rise or fall. Many people spend their entire lives chasing opportunities, searching for shortcuts, or blaming circumstances for their struggles, not realizing that the true difference between those who succeed and those who fail lies entirely within the way they control their thoughts. Your mind is more powerful than any external circumstance, more powerful than any setback, and far more influential than any person or event that comes your way. It is the command center of your life, the engine that drives every action, every choice, and every dream you hold in your heart. If you do not learn to discipline it, you will constantly find yourself reacting to the world instead of shaping it. Consider this: two people can face the exact same challenge, the exact same failure, or the exact same loss, yet their outcomes are completely different. One will crumble, consumed by fear, doubt, and frustration. The other will pause, breathe, and approach the problem with clarity, persistence, and determination. What separates them is not luck or circumstance, but the mastery of their mind. The first person allows negative thoughts to multiply unchecked, convincing themselves that they are incapable, that the situation is hopeless, or that success is reserved for someone else. The second person, however, has trained their mind to focus, to believe in possibilities, and to see failure not as an ending but as a lesson. The power of the mind is not theoretical. It is proven every day in the lives of those who refuse to surrender to their doubts and fears. Your mind can either imprison you or set you free. If you feed it with fear, insecurity, and negative self-talk, it will build walls around your potential, convincing you that you are not worthy, not ready, or not capable. These walls appear solid, but they are fragile, built entirely of thoughts that can be changed, challenged, and replaced. On the other hand, if you feed your mind with courage, vision, and relentless optimism, it will become a weapon so strong that obstacles will crumble before it. You will start to see solutions where others see problems, opportunities where others see dead ends, and growth where others see failure. The way you think shapes the life you live, and the way you live reflects the state of your mind. It is not enough to simply have a dream or a goal. Without a disciplined mind, that dream will remain distant, like a mirage on the horizon, visible but unreachable. Every day, your mind is under attack by doubt, by distraction, by fear of rejection, by impatience, and by the constant pressures of life. The only way to win the battle is to train your mind like a warrior trains for war. This requires patience, persistence, and self-awareness. You must observe your thoughts, identify those that weaken you, and replace them with thoughts that empower you. You must refuse to allow fleeting emotions to dictate your actions. You must build mental habits that support your vision, even when the world tries to pull you away from it. The incredible truth is that your mind's power is unlimited, and it is always at your disposal. History is full of people who started with nothing but an unwavering mind. They were not the strongest, the smartest, or the luckiest, but they controlled their thinking, disciplined their focus, and refused to let external circumstances dictate their destiny. Every breakthrough, every invention, every act of courage begins first in the mind. If you can master your thoughts, if you can harness your mental energy and direct it toward your goals, there is no limit to what you can achieve. The mind, when trained, is like a laser, cutting through every obstacle with precision and power. It is the only tool you truly own that, when sharpened, will never fail you. Your mind is your most powerful weapon because it is the foundation of everything you do, the source of every decision, and the architect of your future. It will either betray you or protect you, build you or destroy you, depending on how you treat it, nurture it, and train it. Understanding this is the first step toward true freedom, because once you recognize that every action, every choice, and every outcome begins with your mind, you will realize that nothing in life is beyond your influence. Your mind is the battlefield, And the way you discipline it today will determine every victory you celebrate tomorrow. Every action you take, every choice you make, and every outcome you experience begins as a thought. The life you are living right now is a reflection of the thoughts you have nurtured, the mental patterns you have allowed to take root, and the beliefs you have either consciously or unconsciously fed over time. Many people believe that external circumstances dictate their success or failure, that life happens to them, or that they are merely at the mercy of luck or chance. The truth is far simpler and far more profound. Your reality is built from the inside out, and the most powerful tool you have to shape it is your mind. The thoughts you entertain, the ideas you dwell on, and the visions you allow yourself to imagine are the architects of your future. If you believe the world is against you, the world will feel heavy and hostile. But if you cultivate thoughts of possibility and opportunity, suddenly doors begin to appear where walls once stood. This is not wishful thinking. It is not a vague notion of positivity or blind optimism. It is a principle that has been demonstrated over and over in every field of human achievement. Scientists, leaders, inventors, and creators all understand that what they imagine in their minds often becomes reality in the world. The farmer who visualizes a harvest and works with care. The entrepreneur who envisions a successful venture and takes deliberate steps each day. And the athlete who sees victory long before crossing the finish line all illustrate this truth. The mind creates the framework for life, and action only fills in the details. If your thoughts are chaotic, scattered, or pessimistic, your actions will reflect that disorder. If your thoughts are disciplined, focused, and forward-looking, your actions will reflect clarity and purpose. Too often, people underestimate the silent power of their daily thoughts. They allow negativity to linger. They replay failures over and over, and they entertain doubts as if they were facts. Each thought, no matter how fleeting, leaves an imprint on the mind, shaping beliefs, influencing decisions, and ultimately determining results. When you think of yourself as weak, incapable, or unworthy, your mind starts to act in ways that confirm those beliefs. You may avoid challenges, second-guess your decisions, or stop pursuing opportunities out of fear of failure. Conversely, when you cultivate thoughts of strength, resilience, and possibility, your mind begins to guide you towards solutions, encourages you to take action, and fuels persistence when obstacles arise. Your external world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the dominant patterns of your inner world. The key, therefore, is vigilance and intentionality. You cannot afford to let your mind wander uncontrolled, absorbing every negative influence or repeating every fear that whispers in the back of your head. You must deliberately choose the thoughts that will shape your reality. This requires awareness of your thinking, courage to challenge limiting beliefs, and discipline to replace doubts with convictions. Begin to see your mind as fertile soil. The seeds you plant will grow, whether they are seeds of fear, doubt, and anger, or seeds of courage, clarity, and hope. If you are planting the wrong seeds, your life will bear bitter fruit. If you plant the right seeds, your life will blossom in ways that feel almost miraculous. It is also essential to recognize the role of repetition in shaping your reality. Thoughts that are repeated consistently gain strength, becoming beliefs, behaviors, and eventually habits that define your existence. A single thought may be fleeting, but repeated thought becomes conviction. If you constantly tell yourself that success is difficult, life is unfair, or you are not enough, your reality will align with that narrative. If you repeatedly tell yourself that you are capable, that opportunities are abundant, and that you can overcome setbacks, your reality will bend to match those affirmations. The mind is an unwavering law of cause and effect. The energy you invest in your thoughts will inevitably manifest in your life. The extraordinary thing about this principle is that it gives you absolute control. No external circumstance can permanently overpower the discipline of a focused mind. No failure, no rejection, no setback has the power to determine your life unless you allow your thoughts to be dominated by despair. By consciously directing your mind, by choosing your thoughts with care, and by feeding your imagination with purpose and possibility, you are literally constructing your reality. Every great life, every meaningful achievement, every dream fulfilled starts here, in the mind, where thoughts take root, grow, and eventually shape the world around you. Every day, our minds are bombarded with noise. It comes from the outside, the endless opinions, criticisms, and distractions that demand our attention. And from the inside, in the form of doubts, fears, and repetitive thoughts that serve no purpose but to drain our energy. This mental noise is invisible, yet it can be more destructive than any obstacle in the physical world. It clouds judgment, blurs vision, and weakens resolve. Those who achieve greatness, those who live with clarity and purpose, understand that their first battle is not with external circumstances, but with the endless chatter inside their own minds. The moment you allow mental noise to dominate your thinking, you lose focus, you lose energy, and you lose control over the most important asset you possess, your own mind. Mental noise often masquerades as urgency or necessity. You scroll through endless social media posts, listen to every opinion from friends, colleagues, or strangers, and constantly entertain hypothetical fears about what might go wrong. You allow minor setbacks to become catastrophes in your mind. You replay old failures and anticipate future disappointments. This constant influx of irrelevant information leaves your mind exhausted and fragmented, preventing you from focusing on what truly matters. It is as though you are trying to run a marathon while carrying a backpack filled with stones. Each stone representing a distracting thought, a worry, or a negative influence. Until you remove these stones, you will never reach your true potential. Avoiding mental noise does not mean ignoring the world or pretending problems do not exist. It means learning to discern between what is necessary for your growth and what is a distraction designed to weaken your focus. It requires courage to step away from gossip, negativity, and the endless pull of comparison. It requires discipline to silence the internal critic, to stop obsessing over outcomes you cannot control, and to stop letting fear dictate your decisions. When you clear your mind, when you eliminate the clutter, you create space for clarity, creativity, and action. You begin to see the world with sharper focus, make better decisions, and respond to challenges with confidence instead of panic. One of the most dangerous forms of mental noise is the influence of other people's beliefs and fears. When you constantly listen to voices that tell you what is impossible, when you measure yourself against the limitations of others, you allow their mindset to become your own. This is how potential is squandered. You may have an idea, a vision, or a dream that is uniquely yours, but if your mind is filled with doubts planted by those around you, it will never have the strength to take flight. To protect your mind, you must choose your influences carefully. Surround yourself with people who inspire, challenge, and lift you, and avoid those who drain, criticize, or discourage you. Your mind is sacred. It is the command center of your life. Protect it as you would protect the most valuable treasure you own. Equally, mental noise arises from indecision and lack of focus. When your mind is scattered across too many goals, too many worries, and too many what-ifs, you create paralysis. You become busy without being productive, active without making progress, and exhausted without achieving results. To eliminate this type of noise, you must prioritize your thoughts as deliberately as you prioritize your actions. Decide what truly matters and devote your mental energy to it. Say no to distractions, silence unnecessary worries, and refuse to entertain doubts that do not serve your purpose. When you take control of your mind, when you eliminate noise, a remarkable transformation occurs. Your thoughts become sharper, your vision becomes clearer, and your energy multiplies. You no longer react impulsively to every stimulus. Instead, you respond with intention, power, and focus. You begin to move through life with a sense of purpose that is unshakable because your mind is no longer a battlefield filled with noise, but a quiet, powerful engine driving you toward your goals. Avoiding mental noise is not a one-time act. It is a continuous practice, a daily commitment to protecting your inner world. The clearer your mind becomes, the greater your capacity for creativity, insight, and resilience, and the more unstoppable you will be in the pursuit of your dreams. Discipline of the mind does not happen overnight. It is not something that can be summoned by willpower alone or inspired by a single moment of motivation. True mental strength is cultivated through the habits we build day by day, thought by thought, action by action. Just as a body becomes strong by consistent training, the mind grows resilient, focused, and powerful through repeated mental exercises that reinforce clarity, courage, and discipline. The quality of your thoughts, the consistency of your focus, and the rituals you follow each day determine the quality of your life, whether you realize it or not. Every habit you allow to take root in your mind is shaping the person you will become tomorrow. If you do not build deliberate mental habits, your mind will build habits for you. habits of distraction, fear, and doubt, and you will drift through life without direction, vulnerable to the first challenge that comes your way. Building mental habits begins with awareness. You cannot change what you do not notice. Observe the patterns of your thinking and the automatic responses that arise in the face of difficulty. Do you retreat when things get hard, or do you confront challenges head-on? Do you allow fear to dominate your decision-making, or do you pause and consider solutions with calm? Each thought you notice and choose to redirect is a brick laid in the foundation of a disciplined mind. By repeatedly catching yourself in moments of negativity or distraction, and deliberately choosing a better thought, you are training your mind as an athlete trains their muscles. Strength comes from repetition, from consistency, and from refusing to give in to the impulses that would weaken you. The next step is deliberate action. Mental habits are reinforced by practice. If your goal is to develop resilience, then practice resilience in small, everyday challenges. If your goal is focus, practice focus by eliminating distractions and giving your full attention to the task at hand. These small, consistent actions create patterns in the mind, turning behaviors that once felt difficult into automatic responses. Over time, these mental patterns become your default mode. When a crisis arises, you no longer panic or hesitate. Your mind has been trained to respond with clarity, strategy, and calm. This is the power of mental habits. They become invisible engines driving you toward success, shaping your character and protecting your vision, even when circumstances are chaotic. Another crucial aspect of building mental habits is repetition with intention. It is not enough to practice occasionally or sporadically. The mind requires consistent reinforcement to grow strong. Just as a plant needs daily water and sunlight, your mental discipline requires regular exercise. Start with small, achievable habits and gradually increase their complexity and challenge. Morning reflections, focused planning sessions, affirmations, visualization, and journaling are all powerful tools to strengthen your mind. The key is consistency. Each day that you reinforce a mental habit, you create momentum that compounds over time, making the next day easier and the next challenge more manageable. Equally important is patience in the process. Mental habits do not produce immediate results, and the mind resists change naturally. You may fall back into old thought patterns, doubt yourself, or feel frustrated by the slow pace of progress. This is normal. Strengthening your mind is a long-term investment, and every moment of persistence adds to the cumulative power of your mental discipline. Celebrate the small victories, recognize incremental progress, and remain committed to the daily practice that shapes your inner world. Life will always present challenges, obstacles, and moments of uncertainty. Problems are inevitable, unavoidable, and often unpredictable, but the way you respond to them defines your future far more than the problems themselves. Many people spend their lives trapped in the habit of focusing on what is wrong, analyzing failures endlessly, and blaming circumstances for their misfortune. This approach is exhausting, unproductive, and self-defeating because it keeps the mind stuck in a loop of negativity. The truth is that the energy you expend thinking about problems is wasted unless it is redirected toward finding solutions. To achieve success, happiness, and fulfillment, you must train your mind to focus on possibilities, not limitations, to see opportunities in every challenge rather than defeat, and to become a problem solver instead of a problem worrier. Focusing on solutions begins with a shift in perspective. Problems are neutral, they are neither good nor bad. It is our perception of them that gives them power over us. When a setback occurs, you can choose to see it as a roadblock that stops you in your tracks, or as a puzzle that challenges you to think creatively and act decisively. Those who succeed understand that problems are not enemies, they are teachers. They reveal weaknesses, highlight areas for growth, and demand action. By focusing on solutions instead of problems, you reclaim your power. You no longer wait for circumstances to change. You take control and actively shape the outcome. This mindset separates those who drift through life from those who create it. The next step is clarity of thought. When confronted with a problem, the human mind often becomes clouded with fear, doubt, and distraction. You may imagine the worst-case scenario repeatedly, overanalyze minor details, or feel overwhelmed by the enormity of the challenge. This mental noise keeps you immobilized. To focus on solutions, you must quiet your mind and analyze the situation objectively. Break the problem down into smaller components, identify what is within your control, and prioritize actions that move you forward. Even in the most complicated or dire situations, there is always a way to make progress if your mind is disciplined and focused. By shifting attention from what went wrong to what can be done, you begin to generate options, create strategies, and take meaningful action. Equally important is emotional control. Problems often trigger stress, frustration, or fear, which can cloud judgment and lead to reactive, impulsive decisions. Focusing on solutions requires the ability to manage emotions, to step back, and to respond rationally rather than react instinctively. This does not mean suppressing feelings or pretending challenges do not exist. It means acknowledging the situation, calming your mind, and using the energy of emotion to fuel productive action. Anger can become determination, fear can become caution that protects you, and frustration can become creativity that leads to innovation. Your emotions are not enemies, they are allies when properly directed towards solving the problem rather than dwelling on it. Another critical component is persistence. Solutions are rarely immediate or obvious. Often, they require trial and error, patience, and relentless effort. Focusing on solutions means committing to the process even when progress is slow or setbacks occur. Each attempt, each adjustment, and each lesson learned brings you closer to resolution. The people who achieve extraordinary success are those who refuse to be defeated by obstacles, who maintained focus on possibilities while others focused on limitations. By embracing this mindset, you develop resilience, confidence, and the ability to transform challenges into stepping stones for growth. Patience is often misunderstood in our fast-paced world. Many believe it is simply waiting, a passive act of enduring time without action. But true patience is far more powerful, far more deliberate, and far more transformative. Patience is mental discipline. It is the ability to maintain focus, composure, and persistence in the face of delay, frustration, or hardship. It is the quiet strength that allows you to continue taking consistent, deliberate action toward your goals even when immediate results are nowhere in sight. Without patience, even the most brilliant strategies, the strongest skills, and the clearest vision will falter because the mind grows restless, frustrated, and impulsive when it does not see immediate reward. Those who achieve greatness are not always the fastest, the luckiest, or the most talented. They are the ones who have mastered the art of patience and refuse to surrender their long-term vision to the pressures of the moment. Patience begins with understanding the natural rhythm of life. Nothing of true value happens overnight. Growth, success, and mastery all require time, consistent effort, and the willingness to endure discomfort along the way. Seeds do not become trees in a day. Skills do not develop in a single attempt. Relationships do not thrive without care, attention, and trust. Patience is the recognition that everything worthwhile has a timeline and that your efforts are an investment in the future rather than a demand for instant gratification. When you internalize this truth, you begin to see setbacks not as failures but as necessary steps in the journey toward achievement. You learn to embrace the process, trusting that each moment of persistence compounds into meaningful results. The power of patience lies in its ability to regulate the mind and protect it from the chaos of impulsive reactions. Impatience breeds frustration, anxiety, and rash decisions. It clouds judgment and diminishes clarity, causing you to make choices that undermine your long-term objectives. A disciplined mind, on the other hand, exercises patience by pausing, reflecting, and evaluating the situation before responding. It is a mind that resists the temptation to react immediately to discomfort or delay, choosing instead to remain composed and focused on what truly matters. This mental control is what separates those who stumble in adversity from those who thrive, because when others surrender to frustration, the patient mind continues to move steadily forward. Patience also requires trust in yourself and your vision, and in the process of growth, it demands that you release the illusion of instant control and accept that some outcomes cannot be rushed. Every challenge you encounter, every obstacle you face, and every moment of waiting is an opportunity to strengthen your mind. Each pause, each delay, and each setback teaches resilience, develops perspective, and owns focus. The ability to endure, to persist quietly when immediate results are absent, is what creates mental fortitude that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Equally, patience fuels consistency. It allows you to show up day after day, to put in the work, to refine your skills, and to deepen your understanding. It is the steady rhythm of effort, not the flash of sporadic intensity, that produces lasting results. The world often celebrates instant success, viral wins, or overnight achievements. But the reality is that these moments are rare exceptions built upon years of disciplined patience. True mental discipline is demonstrated in the ability to remain committed to your path, to resist distraction, and to maintain focus on long-term objectives despite the noise, doubt, and pressure surrounding you. Patience is not passive resignation, it is active endurance. It is the conscious choice to continue forward when giving up seems easier, to persist when frustration tempts you to quit, and to believe in the power of your actions even when results are delayed. It is in patience that the mind finds strength, clarity, and resilience. It is the mental discipline that allows you to navigate challenges with composure, to approach obstacles with strategy, and to maintain faith in your vision until the moment of breakthrough arrives. Patience is the quiet force that transforms effort into achievement, struggle into growth, and time into opportunity. Consistency is the bridge between intention and achievement. Every dream, every goal, and every vision begins with a spark of desire. But desire alone is fleeting. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. One day it feels strong, and the next day it vanishes without warning. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who merely dream lies in the simple, relentless practice of showing up day after day, regardless of mood, circumstance, or obstacle. Consistency is the disciplined application of effort over time, the unwavering commitment to keep moving forward, even when results are not immediately visible, and the courage to trust that your repeated actions will compound into extraordinary outcomes. The power of consistency lies in its ability to shape identity. Every small action you take consistently becomes a part of who you are. The person who writes a page every day becomes a writer. The person who trains each morning becomes strong. The person who studies diligently each night becomes knowledgeable. Over time, these small, repeated actions become automatic, forming the habits, skills, and character traits that define your life. Consistency is not glamorous or dramatic, it is quiet, often invisible work that builds a foundation strong enough to support extraordinary achievement. Without it, even the greatest talent, the clearest vision, and the strongest desire can falter under the weight of inconsistency. Consistency also strengthens the mind. When you commit to showing up day after day, you train yourself to overcome resistance, distraction, and doubt. The mind learns that challenges are not reasons to quit, that setbacks are not permanent, and that persistence produces results. This mental resilience, built through consistent effort, becomes one of your most powerful assets. It allows you to face obstacles with calm determination, to maintain focus in the face of chaos, and to continue pursuing your goals even when external validation is absent. In essence, consistency teaches your mind that you are serious about your growth. And in response, your mind becomes disciplined, strategic, and unstoppable. Another essential aspect of consistency is patience. Results rarely appear immediately, and the journey is often long and demanding. It is easy to become frustrated, to doubt your abilities, or to abandon your goals when you cannot see immediate progress. But consistency bridges this gap. By showing up relentlessly, putting in effort even when it feels unproductive, and trusting the process, you allow time to amplify your actions. Small, repeated steps may seem insignificant in isolation, but over weeks, months, and years, they accumulate into something powerful and transformative. Consistency is the multiplier that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Equally important is the example it sets for others. When you demonstrate consistency in your actions, you inspire those around you. People notice commitment, perseverance, and discipline. Your habits, repeated over time, create a ripple effect that influences your colleagues, your friends, your family, and even strangers. The impact of consistent action extends far beyond personal achievement. It shapes your environment, elevates those around you, and cultivates a culture of resilience and excellence. Ultimately, consistency transforms not only outcomes but character. It shapes your identity, strengthens your mind, and builds your resilience. It turns intentions into accomplishments, dreams into reality, and struggle into mastery. The key is to start today, to commit to showing up even when it feels hard, and to trust that the power of repetition will carry you further than talent, luck, or fleeting motivation ever could. If the life you desire is not built in moments of inspiration, it is built in the quiet, discipline, and repeated choices you make each day. Consistency is the force that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It is the anchor that steadies your mind, the engine that drives your progress, and the bridge that connects your present actions to your future success. If you commit to it, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Let today be the day you embrace consistency, and let every action you take, no matter how small, be a deliberate step toward the life you are destined to create.